Hey everybody, welcome back. Northernlion plays The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth plus 14 wins in a row. We've been cruising and not snoozing, unless you mean hitting the snooze button on your alarm clock so you can finish the Isaac episode before you actually get out of bed. TM29 Kev F. Can we get an F in chat for Kev, please? And I gotta tell you, I love the way this run looks. Good, I would say great HP. Let's not even go good. Let's go a step further. I'd say it's great. It's pretty nice too, honestly. A spacebar item that I actually like in the form of Trinket Smelter, which you don't always get. And you know what? An opportunity to get your HP back via Pyromaniac. Little extra Spirit Heart action, but mostly like, I think you probably know where I'm going with this this one right here. 5.58 damage. An 8 rate of fire on an Eden start. Let's acknowledge, you know, I complain when our stats are bad. Our stats here are amazing. That's very helpful as well. Let's move on. Anyway, sorry, I'm relearning how to speak after, I mean, really from the hours, I would say, of about 7 p.m. until 9 a.m., I only speak, baby. So, it doesn't necessarily mean I do baby talk. Like, I really don't do, like, oh, goo goo gaga. But you don't speak to your baby the same way you speak to, well, really anybody else on planet Earth, right? Even to other babies. You see another baby, you're like, hey, baby, what's up? You see your baby, you're like, hey, baby, what's up? So I gotta switch, you know how, Nate Dogg said, I laid all them busters down, I let my gat explode, now I'm switching my mind back into freak mode. That's what you kinda gotta do, when it comes to learning how to speak to adults, or at least toward adults again. Because I'm not really speaking to adults, but I'm speaking in the general direction of people who I assume are at least a little bit older than your average infant. But judging by the comments, you don't always know. Just kidding. You can tell that they're 12. I'm joking! Okay, come on. Everything's all well and good. You can be insanely toxic to people when they're not listening. I see the stuff y'all write about other people in your private discords and we're dragging out the guillotine and stuff like that. As soon as somebody makes a joke at your expense, you're like, hey, NL, that's not okay. People are hurting. That's why I'm trying to make you laugh, okay? So I'm gonna go all out here, dude. So I'm gonna smelt left hand. I'm gonna smelt everything. I'm gonna turn it into, like, you ever eat Skittles and you can eat them like one at a time and actually savor the flavor, or you could eat them like in one big handful, so it just becomes like a brown corn syrup mess. I forgot we have Pyromaniac. We want to watch out for the bullet, but we don't really care about the bomb. Don't need it. Yeah, we're just gonna turn this, like, we're gonna have no character when it comes to our, when it comes to what trinkets we have. We're just gonna mash different effects together until we have so many that we can no longer determine the cause of things that happen on the run. And I think that could be a fun time. So let's recall. Maybe we won't mash that one. I was gonna say, let's recall we have 3 HP and a bunch of Spirit Hearts, but we don't really care for Brother Bobby. It's quite frankly, it's a little insulting that Brother Bobby is still, in 2020, considered a deal with the devil item. Just my 2 cents. I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers. You know, for every item out there that you think is bad, there are at least a couple people on Earth who it's their favorite item. You know, like Marge Simpson. Why would Brother Bobby be anyone's favorite item? I don't know, I just think they're neat. You know what? Go ahead. I think we're getting pretty close to full HP, actually. And I gotta tell you, I'm also getting pretty close to... I don't even remember what the right-angled worm is, but we're getting pretty close to popping that anyway as well. Why would I do that? I don't know, just to have every trinket in the frickin' game. So the whole reason we came in here was for this. If we get super lucky, which we almost certainly will not, but if we get like a dime, we could pick up Tarot Cloth. Always a good item, but might not be in the cards for us. Okay, or alternatively, we could just pick up a quarter. One of the best trade deals in history just took place. So we definitely want Tarot Cloth. I don't think we want Red Candle. I'm actually kind of happy with Trinket Smelter, quite frankly. And our card is Two of Hearts, which we'll hold. And let's not screw it up. Sometimes I can be guilty of embracing the meme a little bit too hard. It is, you know, like there's the VH1 show Behind the Music, and then there's the show on the Northernlion television network, Embracing the Meme. Embracing the Meme. How I learned to stop crying and love the pot play. Get it? Anyway, I forgot what I was talking about. It's been a good week. It's only Tuesday. It's a busy week as always. I always think it's, you know, a little bit more of a low-key week this week, and then it just piles on. But I pile it on myself. It's crazy to me. I know I talked about it, you know, I love that feeling of like a cozy December where you're, you know, chestnuts. You get the idea. That's how you don't get DMCA'd. Eventually, quantum supercomputing is gonna make it so, like, as soon as you upload a video to YouTube, in like a fraction of a picosecond, it's gonna have complete, like, machine learning generated metadata, an entire script of what you said in the video. So the only way to still sing while defending yourself against the vagaries of DMCA is to never match the pitch, which has not been a problem for me, obviously. And then secondarily, also don't match any of the lyrics. Now that's been more of a problem because I do sometimes like to flex. Okay, I guess I've created some spirit hearts over here. That's a lot of them. That's a Two of Hearts. We definitely want to go down into the what I hope is a black market there, because if it is, we have so much HP that we should actually be able to take absolutely everything if we want everything. And I gotta laugh because I actually feel like we could definitely just go to like the Mega Satan fight here. It's a really good item actually, but I think we're gonna roll Trinket Smelter again just because it's part of the meme, part of the mem. So I'm gonna do this, and I can't really give you a great reason why. The reason why is really just because we can. Now again, you got to be careful of embracing the meme a little bit too hard. But we have so much HP, we really do, that I feel like we gotta get both angel statues in here. Like, I so rarely have the opportunity to actually... Oh, I forgot, we don't need to worry about bombs. That's very nice, honestly. But we so rarely have the opportunity to actually, play a self-sacrifice room like this. It's kind of a fun opportunity for us. Now, the only thing we gotta watch out for is you, like, don't die on the angel statues. If you can avoid actually perishing on the angel statues, then that would be a win for all involved. I used to know, by the way, like on dailies, don't walk over it again because it might teleport you to not Mega Satan. I think it takes you to the void, right? Or no, it takes you to the shoal or the dark room. Dude, I don't know. Let's be honest. It's been like a year since I interfaced with this mechanic in the game, but we found a run that's, you know, very uniquely suited towards it. People have been saying, you know, like we posted a video a little while ago where we went to well, no, we had potato peeler and like an ability to almost go infinite with respect to the amount of HP on the ground. And I'm always like apprehensive people are gonna be like, this is boring. But actually people were like, yo dude, forgive me for saying so, and I apologize if this rubs you the wrong way, but this is Pog City. They're very, very nice about it. So I was like, you know what, why not try to take it, embrace that sort of opportunity whenever possible. Not completely, because again, I just, you know, I'm not gonna go fight Hush right now, but you know, we take the opportunity there. And at the end of it, we spent several minutes and we got Guardian Angel, which would probably be considered not the most effective trade in history. But on the other hand, it was neat. And isn't that what it's all about? We're kind of using Isaac as our playground right now. I think we'll not take yet. Just give it a sec. Oh my god. Holy Mantle. What if we started pronouncing Holy Mantle like you pronounce Howie Mandel? Or if you... let's flip that on its head. What if you started calling Howie Mandel Howie Mandel? Oh, my god, it's my favorite Germshurhurst and stand-up comedian, Howie Mandel. Oh no, NL, please stop. He's getting too powerful. I've been trying to surface ancient memes, like the old ones from H.P. Lovecraft's works, because it makes people cringe, but also because I think it makes people laugh, and that's really the kind of energy that I'm trying to bring to planet Earth, just in general for my whole life. Like, hey, you want to feel old? The Irma Gerd Goosebumps lady is now the Attorney General of the United States. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we're gathered here today to dispute the jurisprudence of the dirt. I'm telling you, it's a good bit. Just because you don't appreciate it doesn't mean it's not a good bit. Oh, baby, bombs are key. That sucks. It's actually garbage. Okay, I will take it. Hey, rate of fire up. I didn't sign up to be made worse somehow. Wonder what Irma Gerd lady's up to. That was kind of a wholesome meme. Like, I get the meme is at her expense, don't get me wrong. But it's like lightly at her expense. You know? Like, there's memes people use willy-nilly that are much more at the expense of the person pictured. Like, anytime you see a meme of you know, a guy who looks like a huge nerd wearing a fedora, you might use the picture to make fun of somebody who's behaving badly, but the person in the picture probably wouldn't feel that great about it. Which is, you know, and I'm not going to say you take the good with the bad, because it's not for me to decide. All I'm saying is if we're talking about, like, ethical consumption of comedy, you know, you got to consider stuff like that from time to time, or maybe you don't. That's really up to you. And me, but to you as well. But I mean, it was like lightly at her expense. You know, she's holding Goosebumps books, she looks excited, and she has some orthodontic, you know, equipment on. I think everybody can teleport themselves back to that age of your youth. You know, when I look at, like, photos of myself from when I'm in, like, 8th grade, I'm not like, oh, nothing to make fun of here. Like, when I was, like, 13, I looked, basically like Mitch McConnell. I'm not gonna say that you're necessarily looking at, like, an incredible stud in front of you today, mostly because the camera's off, but, on top of that, you know, there is the fact that you know, baldness at 19 is a little bit rare. And again, if you're like, hey, NL, screw you, I'm 18 and I'm already going bald. Yeah, we're in the same boat, dummy. You don't get to steal my valor over that. I just already went through it. You're just in the midst right now. It's like that Jimmy Eat World song. But anyway, I was 13 years old looking like a 7-term American senator from the Midwest. I don't know why that matters, but... and I was like, why don't girls like me as much as they like the guy who's really good at soccer? Don't they know I'm gonna work for Microsoft one day? You know, there's plenty of stuff to make fun of there. Let's go peep the shop real quick. That's what I have a fairly simple rule. Maybe I have many simple rules. Let's say 8 simple rules for humor. And that's a completely original thought. I think I'm not gonna say you should be able to laugh at everything. I think that I mean, I find a lot of things funny, but I also don't think that makes me the arbiter of, like, you can laugh at this, you can't laugh at that. You know, if you have some trauma in your life and somebody cracks a joke about it, I don't necessarily think that, you know, you're a baby for being like, that's not funny. I think, you know, you got to speak from personal experience. But, however, here's what I will say. I also think, like, well, let me put it this way. Like, when I was, like, a teenager, right? You know, I grew up in a upper middle class, safe household with, like, 2 parents that were always around and very supportive. And then I would be like, I don't understand why people get offended about anything. Yes, because my life is, like, insanely easy. I'm not one of those guys who's like, you know, people should be offended by everything either. Quite the opposite. And you know, from the stuff that we, you know, talk about on our show from time to time, I think that should be readily apparent. That we do kind of toe the line, but we try to do it in a way that's, you know, not mean-spirited. It is instead, you know, just like, hey, we can at least crack a joke about everything as long as we do it with good faith, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, of course I wasn't offended by anything. You know, yeah, when you're, you know, 12, you can make a joke about, oh, you know, I don't want to even say, not because it's like insanely offensive, but mostly because the Google DeepMind would probably be like, why are you talking about that in a you know, video about video games? When you're 12 years old, you can make a joke about anything. And you're like, I don't understand why people would be offended. Yeah, well, I can, because like, you didn't live through it, dummy. You're 12. Of course you're not offended. You had nothing, you haven't done anything. Anyway, suffice it to say, where was I going with this one? Like, where was this going? Well, I think you can crack a joke about anything to an extent, as long as you acknowledge that when people crack a joke at your expense, if you get really uppity about it, it makes you look like a big baby. That's my 2 cents on this subject. Like, there's a lot of people out there, especially online, who spend like a disproportionate amount of time, I would say, cracking jokes at marginalized person's expense. And then when somebody cracks a joke about, you know, something that they're interested in, like Warhammer 40K, for example, all of a sudden it's like, hey man, some things are sacred. Why can't we all just get along? And I'm like, dude, I saw you say some like vile stuff earlier. Yeah, but that was like that was like a joke, and now you're going, why can't you just let people enjoy things? Anyway, so I'm like, you know, if you're of the opinion that almost all of it's fair game, then it's got to be, you know, fair game in all directions, if that makes sense. I mean, you got to acknowledge that on social media, I really think that social media would be better if you had to have, like, I'm just saying, if you're under the age of 18 on Twitter, they should have just like a little badge that's like they're on a kid's account or something like that. Because the amount of arguments you see where you're like, are there actually people like this, or is this just like 7 15-year-olds arguing back and forth across a bunch of sock puppet accounts? Like, there was a tweet that I saw maybe like a month ago, and it was like, guys' apartments really look like this, and they feel like it's okay. And it was just like a picture of like a PS4 sitting on the floor, and then a TV sitting on top of like an old pizza box or something like that. And then like so many, like, it's a joke that I actually think the spirit of the joke is pretty funny. I've said many times, you know, if I were unmarried, my apartment would look like a serial killer's apartment. It would be like white walls, hardwood floor, and like there wouldn't even be a sofa. You know, and the living room would just be like an open space. The bedroom would have a bed. It probably wouldn't even have an end table. You know, it would be very Spartan, let's put it that way. But not in like the Leonidas sort of way, in like you know, furnish like a jail cell sort of way. Hold on, we might as well get the dirty diaper here. It's a medium I'm very well versed in as of late. But so many of the replies were like, I don't think it's okay to make fun of the way that men decorate their apartments. I mean, you don't see me going like, girls decorate their apartments like this. And, you know, it said like a picture of like 17 live, laugh, love pillows and stuff like that. You don't see me making fun of women who put 900 pillows on their bed. Like, why do we even need that many? And I'm like, you need to talk to a therapist like 10 years ago. It's just a joke. I don't understand, like, how, and I don't think this person is representative of any kind of, like, majority. But either way, I'm just like, man, you think that you got offended by the joke, but what the joke really did, it was like, it was like lemon juice on the invisible ink of the problems with, you know, that you have with yourself. It revealed a certain sensitivity that you have, which is like, you know, if a guy makes fun of me, that's cool, because we're just the boys. But if a woman makes fun of me, oh, I'm gonna give all of my thoughts on this subject. Like, how dare she? Anyway. And this is not to say, you know, that people should be more sensitive. Is quite the opposite. I'm always surprised that I'll see people online be like, political correctness has gone mad, and then somebody pokes fun innocently at one of their interests, and they're like, nah, that's it, I'm going off. I mean, I've been, like, I say things on my show that are, you know, offensive to people, and then when people are like, NL, you look tired today, I'm like, how dare you? You know, I get it, it's way easier to be offended by stuff that's, like, about you. What you gotta do is swallow your pride, and then instead of, like, openly being upset about it, you just plan your revenge. And then, you know, hopefully, by the time, you know, you've come up with, like, a good plan, you're like, it's not that big of a deal, actually, we'll just stay friends. You fantasize about the revenge. Not like a violent revenge, by the way. Just like, you know, how dare you make fun of me, I'm gonna get a hair transplant, and then you'll be sorry. And then, you know, you go to sleep and you wake up, and you're like, actually, it's not that big of a deal. Are you okay? You're a little hoarse. Hold on, where are we at here? Dank Depths 2. The run is, I wouldn't say it's slowed down, really, but it's kind of like, it could use a little more heat, you know what I mean? I don't have any bombs. That's not great. Yeah, I'll double up here. Hierophant is very nice. Sharp Plug we'll take, but we don't really want to use, obviously. And we should take the bomb. And then I guess we'll just get out of here. I will admit, I'm probably like one of the easiest people to make laugh. Genuinely, multiple times in my life, well, like, not even multiple times, like in the single digits, like, oftentimes in my life, I laugh at things that I think people mean as being funny, and then they didn't actually mean it as funny. It's just a statement of fact that I find funny. I don't necessarily think I'm hilarious. And then this is where I leave a pause for you to be like, excuse me, come on. You're like, yeah, you're right, I do think I'm hilarious. I got a problem with self-image. I'm just gonna take that and get out of here. But I think I find, like, a lot of stuff hilarious. Like, I've mentioned this before. Like, I'm a little weird. I'm a little idiosyncratic, right? And not even in a way like, you know, holds up spork to Penguin of Doom. But, like, you know, I've been trying to get more into investing, so I've been watching Bloomberg News. I know, you're like, oh, geez, Mr. Cool Guy, stop flexing. Bloomberg News. Whoa, is this, Yeah, anyway, I don't know what the joke is there. The joke is that it's not cool. Like, it's stodgy. But either way, like, I can't focus on what they're saying in Bloomberg News. They're like, oh, the uranium market is hot. It's a limited resource but copper's had a bit too much of our, you know? I can't focus on it because instead I'm just, like, constantly amused by the fact that Bloomberg News has gone completely remote over the course of the pandemic. So it's like a multi-million-dollar media corporation. At least in Canada, it's completely remote. But, like, literally the first 12 hours of its workday are just run by, like, 5 different people out of their home offices and bedrooms. And, like, you see the same sorts of stuff out of, like, the hosts that you see out of, like, streamers. Like, sometimes the host will, like, ask the guest a question, and then their eyes will just wander back to their monitor, and you're like, they're probably, like, looking at their Gmail right now. And like, I think it's to my own detriment, because there's probably some good advice being handed out. But instead, I'm just like, man, this guy is like, I bet he's got to go to the bathroom. I've been there. Production won't let you go to the bathroom because, you know, you overran your last segment by 45 seconds. Now you got to hold it for 2 hours. It is weird. But again, that's just what I'm saying is, like, I don't think most people look for that kind of stuff. I think they just go, please change the channel. I don't want to watch any more Bloomberg news. And I'm like, but the Hang Seng just opened up. I got to see how Hong Kong futures are reacting. All right, this run is set in stone. We will be clean and clear and under control, like the Clearasil Corporation. I would be very, let's not call it disappointed, let's just call it surprised. I would be very surprised if we can't make the Guppy dream come to fruition. Just because of the fact that we've been holding left hand forever. We've gotten like a lot of deal with the devil opportunities. Admittedly, they've been deals with the angel. We've opened up so many red chests. I think we only have one Guppy item as of right now, though. It's a very great run, though. It's a good way to start my day. It is a little bit of a later start for me. Sometimes the baby is like a nice sleepy baby in the morning. I'm on morning duty, you know, let's say from like 6 a.m. to about 9 most times. Then I will pass the baby off to Kate, and it's not like, oh, I'm sick of this baby. It's more like I feed the baby once from the bottle in the morning, like right when we both wake up, which is really when she wakes up. The baby, that is, not Kate. And then the next, I'm on baby duty until she gets hungry again, because, you know, you're like, she wants to nurse. She doesn't just want that synthetic bottle nonstop. So, some mornings, takes the first bottle, takes a little nap. It's very nice. And I get, basically, I know I keep using this term, basically I get to steal a little valor, right? I feed the baby for 10 minutes, I burp her, we do a little, like, speech lesson. Oh, gugwa, you know, we just repeat the same phrases at each other over and over. She seems to enjoy it. I don't really get that much out of it. I'm joking, but it sounded really mean. You can't joke about that. Okay, I'm bald. There we go. We're even. What was I gonna say? Oh, and then, like, you know, later on in the day, I get to be like, ooh, I'm so tired after looking after the baby for like 3 hours. And really all I did was, like, you know, refresh Twitter on my phone and then make sure she kept breathing. This morning was not like that. Like, she took the bottle, she napped for like 15 seconds, and then she cried for 2.5 hours. So she's in a phase right now where, like, the only way to stop her from crying is to walk around with her on your shoulder. And she, like, you might be like, well, what if you sit down and have her on your shoulder? No, that's unacceptable. Apparently causes her great spiritual anguish. She does not accept that as a viable alternative. Only walking is acceptable. So, arms very sore after, like, I admittedly haven't been working out as much as I should have over the pandemic and the whole, you know, birth situation. These don't give items. Yeah, unfortunately. I think we'll give it a try. Why not? And we can always teleport out if things get too spicy. Like, we didn't get that much stronger over the course of the run, but we're fairly weak against individual bosses. We're very strong in aggregate and against, like, full rooms, for sure. Like, I am a little surprised at how long it's taken to get through that, but yeah, back and arms very sore. That's okay. You know, it's not the cost of doing business. It's literally the business of doing the business. If raising a child was easy, they wouldn't make TLC shows about these families that have like 17 kids, right? They would just call that, like, you know, Facebook. I don't know, that joke doesn't even make sense, really, but the punchline is Facebook, so everybody can laugh without feeling guilty. Can I be honest with you? I'm gonna be like the ultimate coward. I don't like that boss fight was just taking too long. I don't respect it. I don't respect it. We might as well, but like, you know what? We might as well just carry this with us. It's not like we have any trinkets to smelt at this point. Anyway, what was I talking about? I don't recall. Having a bit of a later start this morning, I guess. By the way, this will probably be slower than just finishing the fight against Mega Satan, but I actually feel like I'm doing something. It's not like, you never necessarily want to rush down the run as quickly as possible. You want to have the finish to the run that's the most fun, right? Like, nobody is like, oh, I'm specifically looking for a movie that's 15 minutes long. Most of the time, you're like, oh, I'm hoping to watch a movie that feels like it's like at a breakneck pace, even if it takes me 6 hours in the theater. Maybe not, I don't know. It's the same with Isaac, you know. It's not about finishing the run quickly, unless you're going for speedrun strats. It's about, it's about having fun while you're doing it, which is what just happened right there. Alright, it was a good run. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. But for now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. See ya!